2025 Crest Hill City Council meeting to order at 7 o'clock p.m. I would ask that everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag and please remain standing after the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Unfortunately, with a very heavy heart, some sad news to pass along to all the residents of the city of Crest Hill. Last week, one of our longtime aldermen, friend to the city of Crest Hill, Mr. Charles Convery, passed away after a very, very long battle of several different things in his lifetime. He was 92 years old. He served as an alderman of Ward 4 from 2005 to 2017 for 12 years. Before that, he was coming to many of the meetings that we held. He was a very good alderman, but better than that, he was a better person. He was a very good man, very family-oriented man that cared about this city and went to bat 110% for the residents. So we certainly want to thank him and his family for the sacrifices that they made for those 12 years during his time at the city. We certainly want to offer our condolences to his wife, May, to his two sons and daughter for their sacrifices that they made while he was helping us here at the city. They certainly were not in vain, because Alderman Convery certainly did improve the quality of life for the city of Crest Hill. So in his honor, I would ask for a moment of silence. Thank you. Roll call, please, Chris.
Ray Solomon.
Here.
Jamie Malloy.
Here.
Scott Dyke.
Here.
Angela DeSorio. Darrell Jefferson.
Here.
Claudia Gazal.
Here.
Tina Oberlin.
Present.
Mark Sepiti.
Here.
Nate Albert.
Here.
And Joe Kubal.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, I did receive a message from Alderman DeSario. He is unavailable this evening, so he is excused. We do have several guests in the audience this evening to honor one of our newly retired police officers from the city of Crest Hill, Ms. Renee Malley. So the first order of business is the reading of the proclamation of the resolution by the City Council, and we will begin with the reading of the resolution from Alderman Dyke.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution number 1302, a resolution honoring Renee S. Malley on her retirement from the City of Crest Hill Police Department. Whereas Renee S. Malley began her career on March 21st, 2005, and was the only female on the department working full-time as a police officer for the City of Crest Hill Police Department, and
That's for me?
Read Angela.
Do Angelo. Okay, whereas Renee S. Malley, over the course of her career, was awarded by her peers as Police Officer of the Year in 2012 and was a member of the Will Grundy Major Crimes Task Force for 9 years, and whereas Renee S. Malley was instrumental in starting the annual car show fundraiser for Special Olympics, Pizza with the Chief at both Cheney Manji Grade School and Richland Grade School, and Family Fun Day in the city of Crest Hill,
And whereas Renee S. Malley retired from the City of Crest Hill Police Department on May 17, 2025, and has, during her 20 years of service, protected and secured the safety of Crest Hill residents.
Whereas Renee S. Malley, over the course of her career, was assigned to the investigation unit in October 2006 and was the first female investigator for the City of Crest Hill and served in that position until August 2015. And whereas Renee S. Malley, over the course of her 20 years of service, has received numerous awards, recognitions, and commendations from both our police department and from citizens, and now, therefore, Be it resolved by the mayor and city council of the city of Crest Hill, Will County, Illinois, as follows.
Section 1, the mayor and city council of the city of Crest Hill wish to express their heartfelt gratitude and profound expression of thanks to Renee S. Malley for her dedicated years of service to the citizens of Crest Hill.
Section 2, the mayor and the city council extend their best wishes to Renee S. Malley for a productive and joyous future and for her continued success in whatever endeavor she chooses.
Section 3, the Crest Hill City Clerk is directed to forward a certified copy of this resolution to Renee S. Malley and make an original of this resolution available to members of the general public during normal business hours at the City of Crest Hill Clerk's Office. Resolved this 19th day, May 2025. Christine Boucher approved. Same day, Raymond S. Solomon, Mayor.
So moved as presented.
Second.
Motion by Alderperson Oberlin, seconded by Alderwoman Gazal, for a resolution honoring Renee S. Malley on her retirement from the City of Crest Hill Police Department. Questions or comments? Roll call, Chris.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
And Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Thank you, motion carries. Again, resolution 1302.
Well, I will say that by the show of support that you have here tonight, that says many things to me. It should say many things to you also. The friendships you have built and the relationships that you have built with several of our staff and officers from the police department. I want to thank you personally as the mayor of the city of Crest Hill for everything you've done for us, because you certainly also have improved the quality of life in the city of Crest Hill. You were one of our, well, not the first female police officer, but one of the first female police officers, and you rose up through the ranks. So I thank you for your commitment, your dedication, your service, and your loyalty to the city of Crest Hill, and I wish you good health and good, everything good for the rest of your life, and whatever you choose to do. And we are so thankful that you were here with us. You are always welcome back in this building. You're always welcome in our police department. And I want to personally say, God bless you, and I hope that you have a joyous retirement from the city.
Thank you, Mayor.
And now, if our police chief would like to say a few words.
I'm not one for a lot of words, obviously, but, you know, one of the things we always, when you get in this profession is, do you make a difference? And Renee, you made a difference, so thank you.
Thank you.
So on behalf of the city council and all the residents of the city of Crest Hill, Renee, I'd like to present you with a copy of the resolution that was just passed in your honor for you to treasure. And again, we wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you.
Congratulations. And
Thank you.
anything you would like to say?
Thank you all very much for this honor. I was not born in Crest Hill, but my family moved here when I was in 4th grade, so Crest Hill has been home to me for a long time. And it was an honor and a privilege to serve the city and the council and the citizens of Crest Hill and work with all of the fine officers of Crest Hill. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Any comments from city council?
Just thank you for your service and your commitment.
Well, Renee, I want to thank you, and I hope your retirement is as enjoyable as mine has been. You and Tahoe back there. And I hope I don't ever see you on any new episodes of Snapped. But
Hopefully
thank
not.
you.
That should be my last one.
I want to thank you for all your years of service, for what you did for the community and the residents, and wish you well in your retirement.
Right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Best of luck to you, Renee.
Thank you
Good
very
luck with
much.
everything.
Renee, thank you for your service. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
And have a great retirement.
Thank you
for
very
your
much.
service.
Renee,
Thank
thank
you.
you for your service and enjoy retirement.
Thank you.
Good luck. God bless.
Thank you all very
Enjoy.
much.
All right.
All right, we also have a proclamation for the abate for Motorcycle Awareness Month in the city of Crest Hill. So we'll begin that one by the reading of the proclamation also. We'll begin with Alderperson Oberlin.
The City of Crest Hill, Illinois proclamation by the mayor, whereas safety is the highest priority for the highways and streets of our city and state, and whereas the great state of Illinois is proud to be a national leader in motorcycle safety, education, and awareness, and whereas motorcycles are a primary, common, and economical means of transportation that reduces fuel consumption and road wear and contributes to a significant way to the relief of traffic and parking congestion, and whereas it is especially meaningful that the citizens of our city and state be aware of motorcycles on the highways and recognize the importance of motorcycle safety, and whereas the members of Abate of Illinois, Inc., a brotherhood aimed towards education, continually promote motorcycle safety, education, and awareness in high school drivers' education programs and to the general public in our city and state, presenting motorcycle awareness programs to over 120,000 participants in Illinois over the past 9 years, and whereas all motorcyclists should join Abate of Illinois, Inc. in actively promoting the safe operation of motorcycles, as well as promoting motorcycle safety, education, awareness, and respect of the citizens of our city and state, and
I'm trying to figure out what order we're reading this in here. Whereas the motorcyclists of Illinois have contributed extensive volunteerism and money to national and community charitable organizations, and whereas during the month of May, all roadway users should unite in the safe sharing of roadways within the city of Crest Hill and throughout the great state of Illinois. Now therefore, Raymond R. Solomon, Mayor of the city of Crest Hill and the great state of Illinois, in recognition of the 38th anniversary of the efforts of Abate of Illinois, Inc., and over 352,318 registered motorcyclists statewide, and in recognition of the continued role Illinois serves as a leader in motorcycle safety, education, and awareness, do hereby proclaim the month of May this year, 2025, as Motorcyclist Awareness Month.
Motion.
In the city of Crest Hill, and in the city of Crest Hill, and urge all motorists to join in an effort to improve safety and awareness on our roadways. In witness whereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the great seal of the city of Crest Hill to be affixed this 19th of May, year 2025. Raymond R. Solomon, Mayor.
so moved as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderperson Oberlin, second by Alderman Albert for the proclamation for Motorcycle Awareness Month in the city of Crest Hill. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Darrell Jefferson,
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin,
Yes,
Mark Sepiti,
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
Motion carries, thank you.
And I'd like to invite David Floyd to the podium. Again, it is my honor and privilege to have you here this evening. We've done this for many years in the city of Crest Hill. We will continue to do this. We certainly want to take the safety of all our motorcyclists and make sure that they are safe throughout the city of Crest Hill and wherever they're traveling. So it's very important. So I would like to, on behalf of all the citizens of the city of Crest Hill, provide you with a copy of this proclamation that has just been passed for you and for your organization to have.
Okay, thank you.
Very welcome. Feel free to make any comments you would like at the podium.
Basically, all I want to say is just the awareness is very important so that we get seen. There's too many people out there still texting on their phones and not paying attention, and motorcyclists are very easy to miss when that kind of thing is happening, distracted driving, and a lot of my brothers and sisters have been killed for these type of things, so.
Comments from council?
Pink, thanks for doing this every year, because it keeps it out there in the public's eye and makes them aware every year. It's a nice reminder, so thank you for doing it.
Thanks.
I have a question for you. Back in the day, you guys used to have a banner. How?
We don't have the banners. IDOT used to supply those, and I know you guys used to have them on the
Yes.
fence at the old building,
Yeah.
and we can't get them anymore.
Oh, you can't? Okay. Oh, I just wondered
I'm
about
sure
that.
that they're still out there, but we just don't have the tie. IDOT and ABATE had some issues over motorcycle awareness or motorcycle training courses, because there was a lawsuit over people being trained to ride motorcycles. And all the schools kind of dropped out, and IDOT took it over, and the guy that was in charge of IDOT at the time really just didn't like the motorcycle thing at all, so he kind of tried to push us away.
Okay. Well, thank you for doing that. But I just have a quick question. I don't know who's in charge of that sign in the front. Is there a way we can put it for this month, just as an awareness? That digital sign, I saw like we have the garage sale on it the other day. Can we add something like that on it?
Anybody else? Okay, thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
See you later, Pink.
All right, we'll go back to the agenda items. The first is the approval of the minutes of the city council meeting held on April 21st, 2025. Motion would be in order.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderwoman Gazal, seconded by Alderman Dyke. Questions or comments of the motion? Roll call.
Tina Oberlin,
Yes.
Mark Sepiti,
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Scott Dyke,
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson,
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Motion carries, thank you.
You have before you for approval of the minutes of the special city council meeting held on April 28th, 2025. Motion would be in order.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Jefferson, seconded by Alderwoman Gazal for the approval of the minutes of the special city council meeting held on April 28th, 2025. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Mark Sepiti,
Yes.
Nate Albert,
Yes.
Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Scott Dyke,
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Motion carries, thank you.
You have a motion for approval of the minutes of the work session held on April 28th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Alderwoman Gazal, seconded by Alderperson Oberlin for the approval of the work session minutes of April 28th, 2025. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Nate Albert,
Yes.
Joe Kubal,
Yes.
Scott Dyke,
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin,
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Motion carries, thank you.
And the last one, asking for approval of the minutes of the special work session held on May 6th, 2025. Motion would be in order.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Sepiti, seconded by Alderman Jefferson for the approval of the minutes of the special work session held on May 6th, 2025. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Claudia Gazal,
Yes.
Tina Oberlin,
Yes.
Mark Sepiti,
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Motion carries, thank you.
Okay, moving on to our city attorney, Mike Stiff. Good evening, Mike.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I do not have any agenda items this evening, but happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of our city attorney? All right, thanks, Mike. Moving on to our city administrator, Tony Graff. Good evening, Tony.
Good evening. Patrick Ainsworth is over at the convention, so I will read his report. Looks like he provided almost the exact same as last week. The Hendrickson special use permit is on the agenda tonight. They did have their special meeting. You saw the concepts at the last work session. Russ Way, that grading permit was issued, and that's moving forward. The interview was completed for the last candidate. He has started a position for the inspector, and it's gone through training, so he's still working and shadowing with Don Seaman. The next is the Finance Department and Community Development. They already held their joint review board for the TIF districts. Everything was completed, and all three districts' reports have been sent down to the state of Illinois. Nothing new on Stateville. The BL Duke, we haven't heard anything back. The invoice and letter was sent to the CEO. The plan is for us to follow up. If we don't hear anything in the next few days, we'll physically go to the shop and bring another copy of the invoice, give it to the general plant manager. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. I turned my phone off. The next announcement is about the human resource. As we stated, the background check was completed. He did start his full-time position. You're aware of the city administrator's search, and as of this point, I'm wondering, I got a feeling that the agenda that the report I copied is actually from the last meeting. So If you give me a minute, Mayor, I'll look for the report from last, because I printed the wrong report, because it's the same as last, I told you the same thing last 2 weeks ago. So, if you want to move on,
Okay.
at the end, I'll find the report on my computer.
All right, we will move on to the Public Works.
This is
Director
April
of Public
7th.
Works, Julius Hanson. Julius?
Yes, good evening, everyone. I would like to ask that we have approval for the change order for the well 10 work that was done. Remember that well was hit by lightning or had some collateral damage from lightning. And so we're going to have that covered with insurance. There is a deductible that we have to pay. I believe it's $50,000. But the total cost of that was $88,951.90. Previous to the repair being made, we wanted to expedite that repair, so we had approval for $80,000, but the repair went slightly more than that at $8,951.90. So again, Public Works is seeking approval for the total amount of $88,951.90.
So moved.
We have a motion by Alderman Dyke.
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Jefferson to approve the amount of $88,951 to Lane Christian Company to complete the work on well number 10. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Joe Kubal,
Yes.
Scott Dyke,
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti,
Yes.
and Nate Albert.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, motion carries.
And then the second one Public Works is seeking approval for is the work at the West Plant for Vistering Construction. This would be pay app number 28 in the amount of $571,023.23.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderwoman Gazal, seconded by Alderman Jefferson, for the approval of pay request number 28 from Vistering Construction Incorporated with direction to send it to the IEPA for approval and disbursement for a total amount of $571,023.23. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Scott Dyke,
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal,
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti,
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Motion carries, thank you.
That's all for Public Works this evening. Thank you.
Any questions of Public Works?
Yes. Julius, I was wondering, remember I had contacted you about the B boxes on Rainer Avenue and how those units only have one B box? And I'd like to see if we could get that on work session, because I understand that there's other locations in the city where there's multi-units with only one B box. If we could get that on a work session so council's aware of what we need to do, the cost, different ways we can fix it, or?
Yeah, I'd like to comment on that. I think that's kind of a new initiative that's going to be taken probably for the next Director of Public Works. I think I'm having all I can do to keep up with the workload right now. And so I think that's a good idea, but I'd suggest that for the next director.
Okay. Could you look into for me on Oakland Avenue as you're headed north from the Public Works Building, along Oakland there by where the train repair place is and by the High Lines, all the weeds that are alongside the sidewalk, if we could get that cut?
Sure, I'll take a look at that. Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Julius. Moving on to our city engineer, Ron Wiedemann. Just as those last two agenda items going forward, most of these agenda items were all discussed last Monday night, May 12th, at our work session. I'll turn it over to our city engineer, Ron Wiedemann. Ron?
Thank you, Mayor. First, I'm looking for a motion to award the contract and have the mayor execute the construction contract documents with Strata Construction Company for the 2025 MFT Concrete Flatwork Program, section number 26-00000-01GM, in the amount of $141,525,000.
So moved as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderperson Oberlin, seconded by Alderman Albert, to award the contract, to have the mayor execute the construction contract documents with Strata Construction Company for the 2025 MFT Concrete Flatwork Program. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti,
Yes.
Nate Albert,
Yes.
Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
Motion carries, thank you.
Next item, look for a motion to approve a resolution rejecting the bid of J.R. Russ and Company and awarding the contract for the Phase 1 Oakland Avenue water main replacement and road construction improvement in steel, excavating, and concrete in the amount not to exceed $2,449,936.10.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Jefferson, seconded by Alderwoman Gazal, for a resolution rejecting the bid of J. Russ and Company and awarding the contract to Scanlon Excavating Incorporated in the amount of $2,449,836 $2,449,836.10 for the Phase 1 Oakland Avenue water main replacement and road reconstruction. Improvements to Scanlon Excavating and Concrete in an amount not to exceed $2,449,836.10. Questions or comments?
Ron, just for the record, can you please mention why the highest bidder did not, why we're rejecting that the lowest bidder? Sorry, the lowest bidder.
I'm sorry, the low bid was thrown out because it didn't follow one of the documents that were in the bid documents, which was being registered with SAM.gov. Since it wasn't registered, his bid was rejected immediately, and that is why it can't be awarded to him. There was a comment, just to bring it up, there was a comment at the last meeting from Tony in regards to the DBE. The Scanlon meets all the DBE requirements, and then some for this project. It was verified and approved.
Thank you.
And Ron, there's a discrepancy in the agenda item. It looks like it's $2,449,936.10 in the numerical, and then as it's spelled out, it's $2,449,836. So, which is the correct number?
1 second.
The resolution,
Open
it's,
up my award letter. It should be whatever's listed in my award letter, which is not allowing me to open up.
the resolution is consistent throughout that it's $836.10, but
Let's go with that. If it changes, I can make the adjustment later.
so it looks like it's just the agenda that's wrong if the 836 is correct.
Well, on this one, it says by the 836 corrected. So, on the memo?
Go by what the I apologize, I can't open this up, it's shutting down. So go by whatever's on the resolution. If somebody can,
The resolution is 836. The resolution is 836.
The memo says 836, the resolution says 836, the only 936 shows up on the agenda item in Arabic numerals as opposed to the words. So that's the only place the 936 is, so it might be just an error in the
It
agenda.
also says it up here, if you look at it the written word is 8, but the printed word is 9, and then down here it says corrected 8. It's all, you know.
I don't know what you're pointing
Tina,
to.
I got it open. It is $2,449,836.10.
So then the resolution is correct, and I believe the motion is correct. So I think it's just a scrivener's error in the agenda.
Okay. Roll call,
So we
Chris.
should be good.
Tina Oberlin,
Yes.
Mark Sepiti,
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Motion carries, resolution 1303.
All right, the next item I have is a motion to approve a resolution approving a construction engineering agreement for the Oakland Avenue Phase 1 water main replacement and roadway reconstruction improvement by and between the City of Crest Hill and V3 Companies of Illinois Limited in the amount of $193,319.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Alderman Dyke, seconded by Alderperson Oberlin, for a resolution approving an agreement for Phase 1 Oakland Avenue water main replacement and road reconstruction improvements by and between the City of Crest Hill, Will County, Illinois, and V3 Companies of Illinois LTD for an amount of $193,319. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution 1304.
The next item is a motion to approve a resolution approving an agreement for the 2025 sidewalk cutting program construction by and between the City of Crest Hill, Will County, Illinois for Safe Step LLC in the amount of $65,975.74.
So moved.
Second.
We have motion by Alderman Albert, seconded by Alderwoman Gazal, for a resolution approving an agreement for the 2025 sidewalk cutting program construction by and between the City of Crest Hill, Will County, Illinois, and Safe Step LLC for an amount of $65,975.74. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution 1305.
The last item is to approve a resolution approving and authorizing replacement of a completion bond 301-68303 issued by Western Surrey Company to the City of Crest Hill on behalf of the Executive Construction for the Gas and Wash Major POD Project with Site Improvement Bond 7471749 issued by Old Republic Surrey to the City of Crest Hill on behalf of Austin Tyler Construction, Inc. for the remaining site improvements contained in the 2/10/2025 engineering opinion of probable costs.
So moved.
And second.
Motion by Alderman Albert, seconded by Alderman Jefferson, for a resolution approving and authorizing the replacement of the completion bond 301-68303 issued by Western Surrey Company to the City of Crest Hill on behalf of Executive Construction for the Gas and Wash Major PUD Project with Site Improvement Bond 7471749 issued by Old Republic Surrey Company to the City of Crest Hill on behalf of Austin Tyler Construction for the remaining site improvements contained in the February 10th, 2025 engineer's opinion. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Motion carries. Resolution 1306.
And that is all I have for this evening.
Okay, any questions of city engineer? All right, thanks, Ron. Moving on to community development. Our interim community and economic development director, Ron Metzner, is here with us this evening. Good evening, Ron.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. Patrick Ainsworth, the city's full-time community and economic development director, can't be here tonight. He's actually representing the community at a big economic development conference. So hopefully he'll make it rain there and bring some good projects back to Warren or to Crest Hill in the future from that investment of time. Tonight we're seeking a motion from the council to approve an ordinance granting a special use permit for a utility facility in the form of a solar array and a variation of section 11.6-1 of the Crest Hill zoning code, all with respect to the construction of an emergency access road on pin number 11-04-33-100-02-0000 and a variation from City Code Section 15.04.040 parentheses I, parentheses 8, to allow driveway width of 45 feet on PIN number 11-04-33-100-003-0000, subject to conditions. This is the application of Hendrickson USA. The Plan Commission conducted a public hearing on these requests at their April 24th meeting, made a unanimous recommendation to approve these requests subject to 10 conditions. The applicant and staff presented the application and the proposed project to the council at the last city council workshop meeting. The ordinance included in the backup materials is consistent with the Plan Commission and staff recommendation and the most current design plans for the project. And I know there's representatives of Verde Solutions, which is the developer of the project, and Hendrickson. This is all in relationship to Hendrickson's proposed development of a solar array on approximately 4.8 acres of vacant property they own adjacent to their 501 Gaten Farm Road manufacturing facility, and the solar array would help provide a more sustainable power supply for the large presses that they use to do the manufacturing processes at that facility. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to try to address those.
Any questions of Ron? Okay, I know we have a couple representatives, several representatives from Hendrickson USA here, along with the representative from Verde. Anyone would like to come to the podium and make any comments?
Sure. I'm Chris Patch, General Manager at Hendrickson. So looking forward to working with you guys. We're pretty excited about this opportunity. If there's any questions, feel free to ask regarding the proposal between Grace from Verde.
Any comments? Grace from Verde? No? Any questions for Chris or Grace?
No, I just want to thank you for giving the flowers that you will be putting in, that there are some butterfly. Yay, for our monarchs. Thank you.
Absolutely.
The
Okay,
work
thanks,
session
Chris.
was very explanatory, so no questions today.
All right, thank you.
And again, we went through this last Monday night also with a lot of questions being answered. So with that being said, if there's no other questions or comments from City Council, I would ask in the audience if anyone would like to speak for or against the request of Hendrickson USA at 501 Caton Farm Road for special use number 25-2-4-1, requesting a special use and variation application for that property. Please step to the podium, state your name for the record. Your address is optional. Second request, if anyone would like to speak for or against the request of Hendrickson USA, 501 Caton Farm Road for special use case 25-2-4-1, requesting a special use and variation application for that address. Please step to the podium, state your name for the record. Your address is optional. And the third time request, if anyone would like to speak for or against the request of Hendrickson USA, located at 501 Caton Farm Road. Please step to the podium, state your name for the record. Address is optional. Let the record show that no one has approached the podium. You have a ordinance before you to the City Council. I would ask for a motion for approval.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Dyke, seconded by Alderperson Oberlin, for an ordinance granting a special use permit for a utility facility solar array and a variation of section 11.6-1 of the Crest Hill zoning code with respect to the construction of the emergency access road on PIN number 11-04-33-100-002-0000, and a variation from the city code section 15.04.040, subsection I-8, to allow a driveway width of 45 feet on PIN number 11-04-33-100-003-0000, subject to conditions of Hendrickson USA LLC. Any questions or comments?
There was a lot of numbers.
Roll call.
Nate Albert,
Yes.
Joe Kubal,
Yes.
Scott Dyke,
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
And Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Motion carries ordinance 2019.
Okay, you gentlemen and lady are all set. Congratulations. I think this is going to be a tremendous improvement to the city of Crest Hill and to Hendrickson, who's been there for many, many years in the city of Crest Hill. So I think this is something going forward is going to be kind of a model for other businesses maybe to use throughout the region in Will County and state of Illinois. So congratulations and thank you for everything you've done for the city of Crest Hill for all these past years. Any comments from any of the other members of council?
I can't wait to come see it. Very excited.
Well, like I said at the work session, just thank you for your commitment, being in the city of Crest Hill for so long and expanding your business and employing all the people that you do. Thank you.
Okay. Have a good night. You could stay if you'd like. All right, moving on. Anything else, Ron? No, I haven't. Any questions of community development? Okay, thanks, Ron. Moving on to our police department, our police chief, Ed Clark. Good evening, Ed.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'll just have a couple things to updates for councils. We had our cop on a rooftop on Friday. I want to thank several people here. I know Treasurer Malloy, Alderperson Oberlin, Alderwoman Gazal, and I know the Ms. Verche is here. Sorry.
Hello.
I'm drawing a blank on your title. Sorry. City clerk, excuse me. You guys all helped and chipped in and did your part, and we do appreciate it very much. A couple people put on some donut costumes even. But we raised over $4,500 this year, which is more than we've ever had. So I'm very thankful. Thank you for all your service on Friday. It was a fun time, a fun event, and I look forward for the next one. Second one is on June 6th, we have our blood drive here again from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Anybody wants to volunteer, you're more than welcome again. Reach out to Officer Outlaw, and she'll get a slot for
I'm
you.
already signed up.
All right, but yeah, we are going to have from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. That is sponsored by American Red Cross. So if anybody wants to go on American Red Cross, you can find the location, and you can sign in for that blood drive. I did last time. I probably will end up doing it again this time. So with that, I'll turn it over to my deputy chief, who has the agenda items this evening.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. I do have 3 items on the agenda. It's all business for me tonight. He got to give you the fun, exciting news, but it's strictly business here. So the first thing I'm going to be seeking is approval of a resolution for the bid for the 3 Motorola M500 cameras. Again, we discussed this at last week's work session. These cameras are going to be going in the 4 new squad cars that were purchased through the grant. We are going to be reusing one of the pre-existing in-car cameras that we have. But there is a need for 3 cameras for the new squads. And again, that cost is in there, and we want to get this in before potential tariffs increase that price. And so I'd be seeking approval for that resolution.
So moved as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderperson Oberlin, seconded by Alderman Jefferson for a resolution approving a purchase agreement by and between the City of Crest Hill, Will County, Illinois, and Motorola Solutions for the purchase of 3 in-car cameras. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Motion carries resolution 1307.
Thank you for that. Again, the next item we have here, we're seeking an amendment to the Administrative Citation Ordinance, Chapter 1.20. Again, this is another item that we discussed at last week's work session. This is in regards to our updated administrative hearing done through the program of DACRA. We're cleaning up some of the language to more accurately reflect our current processes in the administrative hearing. And so I'd be seeking approval for that amendment.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Alderwoman Gazal, seconded by Alderman Jefferson for an ordinance amending Chapter 1.20 and Article 3, Division 1 penalties of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Crest Hill. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Motion carries ordinance 2020.
Thank you for that. My final agenda item is asking approval for an amendment to the towing company's ordinance. Again, as we discussed at the last week's work session, some of the fee schedules and for the tow companies in relation to the tow ordinance, they have not been updated since 2008. So in an effort to be more competitive to the other area municipalities that are using some of these companies, we're looking to update that tow fee schedule. So I'd be seeking approval for that amendment.
So moved as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Jefferson, seconded by Alderman Sapiti, to an ordinance amending section 5.68.110, the fee schedule of chapter 5.68, towing companies of Title V, business licenses and regulations of the City of Crest Hill Code of Ordinances. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
And Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Motion carries ordinance 2021.
Again, I appreciate that. I have no further agenda items. Be happy to answer any questions if anyone has any.
Well, I just want to comment once again publicly, because I said it privately, but what a wonderful job Renee does with all these events. I mean, Heidi, I'm so sorry, I have Renee on my mind now. Heidi, excuse me. It's a lot of work putting all this together, and she successfully does it time and time again, and I applaud her for going above and beyond, and it's wonderful, so tell her so.
Any other questions? Okay, thanks, Ed and Ryan. Moving on to the mayor's report. Again, this agenda item was before you last Monday night at the work session also. I am recommending Mr. Gordon Butler to be appointed to fulfill the remaining term of Alderman Angelo DeSario seat on the Plan Commission. Gordon has 10 years of past experience on the Plan Commission and 6 years past experience on the White Oak Library Board, and I believe he would be a tremendous benefit to the Plan Commission, so I would ask for your concurrence.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderwoman Gazal, seconded by Alderman Jefferson, for the appointment of Gordon Butler to the Crest Hill Plan Commission to fulfill the remaining term of Alderman Angelo DeSario's term on that board. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
And Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Okay, I thank you for that, and I will notify him tomorrow. We already took care of the agenda item for Renee Malley. Moving on, you have before you a proclamation for Public Works Week in the city of Crest Hill for 2025. You have before you a proclamation. We will begin with the reading of the proclamation by Alderman Dyke, and I will take the portion for Alderman DeSario.
Thank you, Mayor. Proclamation. Whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of the city of Crest Hill. And whereas these infrastructures, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector, who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And
whereas it is in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children in the city of Crest Hill to gain knowledge of and to maintain an ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas the year 2025 marks the 65th Annual National Public Works Week sponsored by the American Public Works Association.
Now therefore, I, Raymond R. Solomon, by virtue of the powers vested in me as the mayor of the city of Crest Hill, along with the members of the city council, do hereby designate and proclaim the week of May 18 through May 18, 2025 through May 24, 2025 as National Public Works Week in the city of Crest Hill, Illinois. I urge all citizens to recognize the contributions which public works employees make to protecting our health, safety, comfort, and quality of life.
In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the corporate seal of the city of Crest Hill this 19th day of May 2025, Raymond R. Solomon, Mayor.
Motion would be in order.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Alderwoman Gazal, seconded by Alderman Dyke,
Both of them.
for Public Works Week
I'll give it to the
in the city of Crest Hill for 2025. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Darrell Jefferson,
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Okay, we also already took care of the Motorcycle Awareness Month of May for Mr. Floyd. So the only other thing I have left is just an announcement for a Memorial Day, which will be our 37th Memorial Day, annual Memorial Day ceremony in the city of Crest Hill, and the 30th for our 30th anniversary of our police officers who were slain in the line of duty. So I'd like to invite everybody to come to our program, which will begin at 1:40 p.m. with a musical prelude by the Frankfurt Brass Band. We'll then go into the program, which will begin at 2 o'clock. Our guest speaker for the day is Mr. Tony Ariano, who is a United States Navy veteran. We will have also with us our 2 World War II veterans who reside in the city of Crest Hill, Mr. Chester Bozak and Richard W. Pemble. Will be here. If their health permits them to be here, we'll certainly recognize them and any other World War II veterans that we have in the audience. Also, the Frankfurt Brass Band will be conducting several musical entries during the program, which should last about 1 hour. We will have the laying of the wreaths for both the veterans and for our slain police officers by families of those individuals. It's a very solemn ceremony that we have where we'll be recognizing all of our veterans who have passed and all of our veterans who are still alive and helping us to enjoy the freedoms that we have today. And we'll also take time to honor with the families of the slain police, the 2 slain police officers in the city of Crest Hill, Officer Jim Nink and Sergeant Timothy Simonson. So we invite everybody to please come if you can. It's a very solemn ceremony, which we've been doing it for many years, and there will be light refreshments after the program. That is it for the mayor. Unless there's any questions, I could try to answer.
Just, Mayor, that it will take place rain or shine, too, if we have bad weather.
Yes.
outside here.
I think there's only about a 25% chance of rain, but it's changing daily, and if it does rain, we will be right inside this building here for the program, along with the band in the community room.
But if there's no rain, we might get that sandstorm a couple
Yeah,
of days
right.
ago.
Well, we've been through tornado warnings and everything else, so we've been through 110 degrees and we've been through 30 degrees, so. Okay, moving on to our clerk's report, our city clerk, Christine Verche Hall. Good evening, Chris.
Good evening, thank you so much. I have 2 requests here. The first one is a block party for Saturday, July 26th. They're asking to close off Alma Drive from Inner Circle to Alma to Hosmer and Alma Drive.
So moved.
Second.
We have motion by Alderman Dyke, seconded by Alderman Jefferson for the approval of the block party application by Michelle Maynard for Alma, Hosmer, and Inner Circle. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Joe Kubal,
Yes.
Scott Dyke,
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
And Nate Albert.
Yes.
Motion carries, thank you. The second one we have for Saturday, August 9th. They want it from 12 to 11, not 11:30. And they would like to close off Essex Court to Borio Drive. Council, your decision.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderwoman Gazal, seconded by Alderman Jefferson, for the approval of a block party application of Joshua Resto for August 9th, 2025, for Essex Court at the intersection of Borio Drive. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Scott Dyke?
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson?
Yes.
Claudia Gazal?
Yes.
Tina Oberlin?
Yes.
Mark Sepiti?
Yes.
Nate Albert?
Yes.
Joe Kubal?
Yes.
Motion carries, thank you. And just to let you know, over the weekend, we had our citywide garage sale, and we had 71 permits that were issued out for it.
Oh, wow.
And that's all I have to report tonight.
Any questions of City Clerk? All right, thanks, Chris. Moving on to our City Treasurer's report, our Treasurer, Jamie Malloy. Good evening, Jamie.
Good evening. First of all, I'd like to start out just by saying thank you from myself to Public Works Department for all their help that they gave me this past week. Then, I'm moving on to approve a resolution approving the removal of Glenn Conklin as the authorized signer of the City of Crest Hill financial accounts and designating Treasurer Jamie Malloy as the authorized signer.
So moved as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderperson Oberlin, seconded by Alderman Jefferson, for a resolution approving the removal of Glenn Conklin as authorized signer of the City of Crest Hill financial accounts and designate Treasurer Jamie Malloy as an authorized signer. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Mark Sepiti?
Yes.
Nate Albert?
Yes.
Joe Kubal?
Yes.
Scott Dyke?
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson?
Yes.
Claudia Gazal?
Yes.
Tina Oberlin?
Yes.
Motion carries, resolution 1308.
Thank you. Then next, I have the approval of a list of bills issued through May 1st, 2025, in the amount of $2,065,212.76.
So moved as presented.
Second.
Motion by Alderman Jefferson, seconded by Alderwoman Gazal, for the approval of the list of bills. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Tina Oberlin?
Yes.
Mark Sepiti?
Yes.
Nate Albert?
Yes.
Joe Kubal?
Yes.
Scott Dyke?
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson?
Yes.
And Claudia Gazal?
Yes.
Motion carries, thank you.
Thank you. And finally, I have regular and overtime payroll from April 21st, 2025 to May 4th, 2025, in the amount of $264,571.62.
Okay, any questions of the treasurer?
Jamie, I discussed with you earlier about the
Yes,
explanation thing, so.
I
look
will
forward
get
to
back with
getting
you.
back.
Right now, I don't know,
Okay, thank you.
but I will get back with you.
Okay, thanks, Jamie.
Sure.
Moving on, we have nothing under unfinished business. Anybody? New business?
What about the administrator? We have to go back.
Oh, yeah, we have to go back to Tony. I forgot. Thank you.
Sorry about that. The community development update, department is actively recruiting for the role of city planner. So far, there have been 10 applications received. Application reviews are ongoing, and interviews will take place in the near future. The weather has been nice out, as he says. Professional photographer has been hired to take photos of various points of interest throughout the community. Help create a file of photos that will be utilized for future marketing. The photographer will be in Crest Hill this week, taking photos of specific sites and properties. These photos may also be utilized as part of the website update project. Staff is also working on obtaining quotes from experienced organizations to possibly create short films for future marketing activities. Patrick did tell me that if you got any sites that you want to have focused, email them. We could definitely take on more. We're doing buildings, general locations, the library, police station, fire station, the public works building, and then just some generalized open space areas, since we have a good number of those and some beautiful ones, you know, the golf course, along with the park district. So if you got any other locations you think we should focus on, or also the schools, we'll take a photograph of those. So let Patrick know. We definitely would like to find out if there's any
Well, I think
special
Ladis
locations.
Park should be in there.
Which one?
The Ladis Memorial
Yes.
Park.
Yeah, yeah, he had that on his list.
I thought that's what he told me, but you didn't say it, so.
Yeah. No, and it's definitely with the green, you know, the rain we've had is looking really nice. It's one of the nicer flower area too.
I know, I just planted them.
Patrick is currently out at the, what is ICSC mean again?
International Council of Shopping Centers.
Ah, okay.
Retail developers and end users and, you know, potential future businesses for Crest Hill.
And when he returns, he says he will have an overview and summary report to share with all the council. The next planning commission meeting is on June 12th. There's 3 applications that'll be on the agenda, including the properties of 1813 Broadway, 1800 Dearborn Street, a series of proposed text amendments to the Crest Hill zoning ordinance. All 3 cases will be presented at a future city council meeting. I think he's talking about a workshop. Under the HR, city administrator search, we know we're in our final stages. The director of public works, we only received 1 applicant. When I wrote this on Friday, we did receive another application that we're reviewing right now. It is a qualified application. So we're hoping we might get 1 or 2 more before the close-off date. I just wanted to give a heads up that we might want to have a discussion if we don't find good applicants, we might have to have that discussion again about MGT.
What's the close-off date currently?
I think it's this Friday, right, Dave? Yeah.
Okay, Tony, on that Public Works and the HR, how far do we advertise? Is it statewide or we just advertise in a particular area?
I'll let Dave answer. I believe the American Public Works Association is nationwide. I know we advertise there besides the state.
Yeah, we advertise in the American Public Works Association newsletter, both locally and nationally, and also in ILCMA, which is the local job mart. Typically, these positions are, you know, they're going to be coming from this area anyway, so that's the areas we have advertised previously. Even when GovHR advertised this, they didn't get any applicants really either. And they were using the same resources. So I don't know why we're not generating a lot of interest. We did get 1 candidate actually today that actually has some good experience we're going to reach out to right away and see if we can talk to them.
Okay, thank you.
And currently, we're not advertising for HR. That was a decision that was made, I think, in January or February. So we could discuss that in another work session if you want. Summer laborers, I could let Julius get any more updates. I know we have 27 applicants. 1 has started. I don't know if there was anything new that you got 2 or 3 more starting?
No, we just have like 2 or 3, that's it.
Okay.
For grounds maintenance.
The utility operator, they started the testing. They actually had, test was on Saturday. We had 5 applicants show up. 11 said they would show up for the test, civil service test. 5 did, so now they're going through the next set of the process, which is a physical agility test that they have to perform, certain task, and then we'll move on from there with an interview. But we got 5 applicants right now for the civil service test. The water meter replacement, work with the treasurer. She's Jamie Malloy. She took on the task of just reviewing and evaluating where we at with the outstanding locations. Broke them down into, we have some obstructions. We got at least 11 locations, maybe even 12 that are abandoned homes. And then the rest, we're gonna have to do some recon, basically knocking on doors. To why haven't they contacted us? But the 5 locations that were identified with obstructions, water operator and a plumber is gonna be going out to evaluate those locations and talk to the owners to see if we could find a pathway to get their meters in. Place for eating tax, the one delinquent business that is, we all know about, is got 8 additional citations were issued for this Wednesday's meeting. We're continuing to work with Attorney Stiff in regards to preparing a civil action. And Finance Director Gerke has been in contact with the Illinois Department of Revenue to see if they're in compliance with the state of Illinois sales tax. We haven't got confirmation one way or the other yet. They're doing their research and investigation right now is what they told us today. So we get some information, we'll let you know on that. West Sanitary Sewer, nothing new to report. Nothing unusual in regards to supplies and materials. We're not being told we're short, so we're still on schedule. Nothing new to report on training, unless something came in that I wasn't aware of in the last week. Because I know the public works guys have been working heavily on the projects. Crime Lab, nothing new to report there. We're still waiting for the final comment period for the EPA Section 401. As soon as that clears and they can get their permit, we're told that the engineers and architects will be back in contact with us. I think we're at least 2 or 3 weeks away from hearing about that. The Civics Plus meetings that we've been having with staff and with Civic Plus for the new website design and also ADA compliance, community news alerts, online payment program, and online forms for applications for business licenses, for permits and things like that. We're still exploring all those designs, and we should have a written quote of what the cost is gonna be, and we'll be able to bring that to the next work session. And then we'll start working on what we approve with the options. City engineer, what was that? Oh, Mr. Weedman's reports. Broadway and Theodore, the lining project has tentatively been awarded. The division east of Weber reconstruction plan is currently scheduled to be completed by late May. Still waiting for the city to receive the DECO award before bidding out the project. Hillcrest Shopping Center, replacement and relocation, bid documents will be ready in June. Hopefully we'll have the bid sometime in July and we did receive the IEPA permit. That was holding us up a little bit before we go out to bid. Inner Circle project, replacement roadway rehabilitation, will be ready May 25th with the bid process. We're looking to hopefully have that award in June. Crest Hill Business Park staff have been working with the existing stakeholders out there at the business park off of Division, potential developers to create the best alignment for the business park east to Weber Road to help with the flow of truck traffic off of Division to get out to Weber Road. We're still working with the business owners out there with proposed alignments. We're hoping to be able to bring something to the city council with the options late summer, early fall. The capital water and sanitary analysis and study has been underway since last fall. Detailed evaluation of each of the well houses and east sanitary plant have been ongoing. They're scheduled to be completed by the end of April. I don't think they got it done yet. I haven't seen a copy, but we're supposed to be getting the draft by July. Okay. Caton Farm Road, water main for the Grand Prairie Water Commission project. Bid documents are ready to be bid in May with constructions during summer and fall of '25. Design has been modified to move water main to the south side of Caton Farm to eliminate discussion with the DOC on easements. We were having challenges there that for them to make any commitments, they say they got to get to the rebuild project first because of the alignments and things like that. So Ron found a good alternative to move it to the south side, and it did work. It does work for the design. So that project will, hopefully, we'll have the exhibits and everything within the next couple of weeks. New ground storage water tank, east-west receiving station for the Grand Prairie Water Crossing are scheduled for bidding in late 2025 or early 2026. Caden Farm Road Bridge over the CN Railroad inspections will be completed. Do we have a date when they're going to be out for the inspections this week, or is it next week?
They're out there now.
They're out there now?
This week and next week.
And that's our project, so we'll have to be looking at some grant money and working with the railroad and the state if there is any results coming from that bridge inspection. PFAS study, currently the scope of work and the proposal from Strand is being reviewed. Where we're a little update on the PFAS, I could turn over to Ron because we're working on the next phase that we were talking about was testing for the wells. And I'll turn it over to Ron where we're at.
As Tony said, I did review Strand's proposal last week, modified it and sent it back to them, so I should be getting it back sometime this week so we can execute it, so they can start moving on the study that I talked about a couple weeks ago. Working with the Public Works Department, they have ordered, I'm not sure, I haven't talked to John yet today, but we ordered testing for the well. He's gonna go ahead, when those come in, we're gonna go ahead and take samples of the water and take those out and get tested. We did last Friday have a conversation about doing some tests at the faucets. We kind of came down initially, we're gonna probably do one close to where wells are and one far away from a well in each of the wards, so 8 total at this point. It could change, it could do a couple more depending, but we're gonna do that as soon as the well samples are done and taken, which all that will be put into the final report, so we can kind of see what's happening as our water gets blended from when it leaves the wells to when it actually gets to people's faucets. So that's kind of where we are on right now. I know Tony set out some information today, and Ivan on it too. US EPA looks like they're tweaking and changing the rules, which is not uncommon. What does that mean? Don't know. So, are they gonna go up? They're gonna go down? It sounds like they're gonna move them up, but again, I don't know at this particular point. But just because the US EPA is making changes, IEPA has not yet, but more than likely IEPA will follow after the US EPA. So we're keeping an eye on it just to see how it's going to affect us. It's kind of a moving target right now, but as soon as we have more information, we'll let the council know.
And to take that one step further, the EPA director, the US EPA director, Mr. Sheldon, he did testify in front of the Senate, and thanks to Tina, Councilwoman Overland, for giving us the updated news about that and in the article. The director did state that he's moving the extended date of when we have to be in compliance. He made a comment that he would move it to 2031 for the 2 most common PFAS chemicals, which is the PFO and PFOS. And he's rescinding and reconsidering the limits for the other 4 listed in the initial regulations. There are a bunch of letters, but you all received the article that we got, and the article came from Public Broadcasting. And at the end of the congressional hearing, we should hear some type of information. We haven't got a letter officially, so I believe we could believe what the EPA Administrator, Lee Sheldon, said. It's good news about extending it, because our Lake Michigan water that we're targeting is the 2030. We are working with the Grand Prairie to put us up in the front of getting the first water, if it works out engineering-wise, because we're the only, out of the 6 communities, we're the only one that has the identified PFAS violations by the IEPA. So we'll keep everybody informed. If you guys see any articles or see anything in regards to PFAS, let us know. Because this is seems like an ever-evolving target. the EPA and the scientists, because they're saying they're having, the way he put it was, the issues being framed in not knowing about providing additional protections or making stricter, the senior scientists from the National Resource Defense Council. It's about providing relief in terms of cost of water systems. So it seems like they're not backtracking, they're doing more exploration in regards to the water. They're not saying the water's unsafe to drink, our water is still safe to drink. That's a message that, you know, coming from the EPA, not from us. Any other questions?
Did you find out yet, speaking of the EPA, about the company, we sent them in to be signing off on the wastewater?
And Julius made contact with the EPA, and I think as of Thursday, we still didn't get confirmation. Correct?
I have two questions for you. Do we have a meeting next Tuesday, a work session?
No, that I'm aware of.
Because Monday is Memorial Day.
Yeah, there wasn't one scheduled on the calendars.
Okay. And the second thing is, what is the status on the cameras at Public Works? This has been going on for almost 3 years now.
Well, the one camera's, as the police department went out there to make sure we're in control of them, not the employee. So the cameras are up in that one area. Deputy Chief Opala made sure that that camera now is in our system.
I'm not talking about that, I'm talking about the cameras that we've been working on for the last couple of years that we're supposed to order them.
Oh, we're waiting for, the grant has been approved for the purchase. I think it was 250,000 grant on the, from DECO. So we were waiting for the grant contract.
For
So,
cameras,
yeah, for
200,
cameras.
that sounds kinda, I
Sounds
thought
kinda
was
high.
less than that.
So the grant is also for infrastructure, not just the cameras, you gotta have
Okay.
the wiring
Yeah.
and hookup and then integrating into our system. So there's a lot involved in that.
Okay.
That's what the grant is for.
And we have been working with somebody from the state in reference to that grant. Unfortunately, as many of these gentlemen at the table know about grants, is that when we get everything ready and we're getting ready to proceed, you know, the quotes expire and prices are kind of going up. So we did meet most recently this past week with our vendor in relationship to where the cameras are going to be and everything like that. So we're waiting some update quotes from those gentlemen, and so it is moving forward. But again, it is it's a big project, and we want to make sure we get it right. So.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, I misunderstood what we're
It's okay.
talking. Okay.
In reference to that, not only the Oakland Avenue building, but also the Public Works building that we have at Elrose Court, we make sure there's gonna be cameras there also?
Yeah, the grant was for all facilities that we have. They do want us to harden them all. So minimally is gonna be looking at the padlocks and the gate system. So we can at least prevent from people coming into the building or into the yard, especially with the tow yard we have there too. So yeah, that was on the list.
Okay, just making sure.
Any other questions? Okay, thanks, Tony. New business, anybody? Committee liaison reports?
Well, I would just like to remind everyone that the annual Ladis Memorial Ceremony will be held on Sunday, June 8th at 11 o'clock a.m. at the park. If whether it goes south like it did one year, we would move it here, but hopefully that won't happen, so. Thank you.
City council comments? Anything positive city council comments? Anything you'd like to share with your constituents? We'll begin with Alderman Kubal tonight.
Mayor, I've got a couple nice updates for the Lockport Township Park District, a couple very nice upgrades they've made here. The first one is to Crest Hill Community Memorial Park. That work is completed. And you have a wonderful walking path in there. The kids have a great park. I took a ride by there over the weekend. It looked really nice. A great shelter. Parking lot's done very nice. So kudos to the Park District for upgrading that whole neighborhood. And also the Lockport Challenge Fitness had their ribbon cutting this past Saturday, and that facility is totally upgraded too. Both of these upgrades received nice grants from the state to help them pay for it. And so get out there and participate and take advantage of our local park district.
Alderman Albert?
Yeah, Mayor, since this is positive council comments, I wanted to publicly thank Alderman Charlie Convery for his positive improvements to the city of Crest Hill. Certainly we'll miss him. You know, him and May moved into this community 20, 25 years ago, and I've never seen somebody get so ingrained in the community so fast. You know, Charlie was instrumental in a lot of things at Caroline Lakes, but he got to know the entire city of Crest Hill, which was very impressive. He was a voice for so many people. I certainly want to thank him for his commitment to the city of Crest Hill and his friendship that we had over the years. You know, he was involved with the church quite a bit, and at St. Anne, St. Ambrose, Knights of Columbus, a short time with the Lions Club. He just really was a powerful impact to the city, and we're certainly going to miss him. Thank you.
Yeah. Alderman Sapiti?
I want to congratulate and thank Chief and his department, and thank everyone else that was involved with the Cop on the Rooftop event. Great success, and thank you for raising money for that great cause. Thank you.
Other person, Oberlin?
Well, I want to wish everyone a very happy Memorial Day and thank all our servicemen, veterans, living and not. And I also want to piggyback on what Nate says, because Charlie was quite the character, and Claudia and I had gone up to see him not too long ago, and even still, he was so, he just couldn't stop talking about the city and things, and even at that moment, and it was amazing. So my heart definitely goes out to May and the kids, and I will always remember Charlie, especially the fact that he was a huge Bruce Springsteen fan. So we had that in common. But goodbye, Charlie.
Alderwoman Gazal?
Well, what can I say about Charlie? When I got the call that he wanted to see me, in April we went up, Glenn and I couldn't believe, even though he was in hospice, how sharp he was to the last minute. I'm personally gonna miss him a lot. When I became elected, we had differences, and then we got along very well, and then we have differences again because we're both stubborn, and we both butt heads a lot, but he was definitely a family member. Charlie came to my kids' birthdays. Charlie supported me when my oldest Eli went to Marine Corps. He was there for me. He would send Eli magazines and letters, and he was the biggest support. And when Omar was going to like his mission trips, he was his big cheerleader, and he will call him Grandpa Charlie because we don't have a grandpa. So Charlie was our grandpa, and I have several text messages here. When he watches the meeting, he will say, "Keep fighting." And when I saw him last, that was his last word, "Keep fighting." That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna miss him a lot. And I will save these messages for life.
Alderman Jefferson?
Nothing at this time.
Alderman Dyke?
Yeah, I also thank Charlie for his time up here. You know, me and him had many differences on different opinions and things, but we always worked it out. I enjoyed working with him at the pancake breakfast at St. Anne's. So I've had some good memories with Charlie also, and I thank him for his time and devotion to the city and other things in the city that he was involved in. And also with Memorial Day coming, I hope everyone make sure you thank a vet, not just this week or this weekend, but all year round. It's just not this weekend. It's all year round. You see a vet, thank him.
Okay, public comment. Anyone like to address City Council, please step to the podium, state your name for the record. Your address is optional.
Good evening. Good evening, Mayor, council members. My name is Omar Cornelio, and I just wanted to come here and talk about the waters, the PFAS in the water. So, Mayor, I know when you were reelected, you promised to enhance the quality of life for all residents. You also said that you wanted to ensure public safety and uphold fiscal responsibility. So, just wanted to come here and talk about that and just make sure to hold you to that promise, because there aren't just political ideals, they're real measurable responsibilities. This city has secured millions in federal funding and state funding, including state revolving funds and money tied to the Grand Prairie Water Commission project, which is great progress for the city, for sure, and especially for the future. But our concern is the present. The health threat is here, and even though the regulations are changing, the MCLs are already established for PFAS. And on behalf of the residents who are increasingly concerned, not just about the long-term plan to address the PFAS contamination, but also about the lack of the short-term relief and transparency around how the public funds are being allocated. So it's not just a planning issue, it is a public health crisis, and it raises a simple but serious question. Why hasn't any of that funding been allocated to protect the people today? So fiscal responsibility is more than just balancing budgets. It means putting public dollars where they matter the most. And yet there's no line item budget, no financial breakdown, and no clear plan to offer short-term support to the people most at risk. So tonight I just wanted to come and respectfully ask for the following: transparency. Publicly release a detailed line item budget of how PFAS-related and GPWC funds are being spent, and establishing emergency relief funds, funding PFAS relief fund using reserve dollars, RSF flexibility, and GPWC, federal ARPA allocations to help with water bottle programs, one-time certified home filter rebates or reimbursements, assist low-income households in transitioning to safer water sources if they are able to, and then also partnering with the GPWC or neighboring cities to offer mobile water tanks with clean PFAS-free water for residents to fill containers, and then also offer free PFAS testing for homes that want to verify their levels, their tap water levels, contamination. And then lastly, just independent accountability. So other GPWC members like Joliet have hired independent auditors and published detailed financial reports. Crest Hill can and should do the same. Bring in a third-party auditor like Joliet has to ensure public funds are being managed responsibly. Mayor Solomon, council members, this is not just an infrastructure project, but it is a public health emergency, and the residents of Crest Hills are looking to you, not just to plan for the future, but for today. So thank you.
So let me answer a couple of those, because you put a lot of questions there, okay?
Sure.
We have received some funding, federal funding for the Grand Prairie Water Commission. That funding goes to all 6 of the communities, and we get a share of ours based on our population. So naturally, Joliet is the biggest community. They will get the most out of the funding. I hope going forward in the future that there's a lot more federal funding along with state funding to help us pay for some of these costs. As far as the PFAS goes, we were made aware of the PFAS in the water system in 2021. And again, I'll make comments that I made 2 weeks ago. We did not create this problem. but we are forced to deal with it, and we are dealing with it. We have been planning. We have been dealing with this problem. That was the main reason why we joined the Grand Prairie Water Commission with the 5 other communities to bring Lake Michigan water to the city of Crest Hill. Now, in 2001, there were no standards. We did not have any standards. The EPA did not have any standards. They tested our water in 2023, and it wasn't until April 14th of 2025 that we received the results of those PFAS tests in all of our wells. That's when we found out, okay, that we were over in 2 of our wells. Now, I would suggest, for your benefit, to go home tonight and you can go to YouTube channel and click Crest Hill and go to the May 5th, 2025 meeting. We did about an hour presentation at the beginning of the meeting from our city engineer, our consultant engineer from Strand Engineering, made many, many comments. We are exploring all of our options at this point in time. It took 4 years to get standards from the EPA. We're asking for 4 to 6 months to get everything in order to see what is the best option for the city of Crest Hill. And when we have gotten all of that information, that's when we will share it with City Council, and we'll make an educated decision going forward. Now, you heard some comments earlier in regards to maybe lowering or hiring the standards. You heard maybe extending some of the dates. We don't know. I don't think the EPA knows what the solution is right now, okay? But we will continue to converse with them and have a relationship with them, try to figure out what is the best option for the city of Crest Hill. I would also say to you that, you know, you want transparency. Everything that has come through Grand Prairie Water Commission has been brought to this table as far as rate studies and everything else that we have agreed upon going forward. We told the people that water bills would go up because this is a $120 million project for the city of Crest Hill. It's a $1.4 billion project for all 6 communities. Just to bring 66-inch pipe 40 miles to get to Romeoville and then go another 20 miles south to Minooka is an enormous sized project, the biggest project that the city of Crest Hill has ever had and probably will ever have. Those are my comments. I'll ask if our city engineer wants to add anything from that, but I think you can gather much more information if you were to go and watch the May 5th, 2025 City Council meeting, and you can do that on the website at cityofcresthill.com.
The only thing I would add is, you know, please check out the IEPA and US EPA websites. I mean, as the mayor said, there's still a lot of studying going on. You know, how it affects, will it affect you? I mean, things like that. But, you know, check that out. That's very important for everybody to do that, so they can just feel they're, you know, be educated on how it got into our system and what everybody's doing. And it is, the mayor just said, this is a moving target for everybody. Whatever we do has to be approved by the IEPA, and they have very strict rules. So some of the items that you talked about there would have to be approved by IEPA. They've never approved some of those things in the past, so I'm not exactly sure how they're going to deal with it in the future because of this. But whatever we do, whatever plan we come up, will have to be approved by the IEPA. And that's including handing out water or being rebates or anything like that. So, but we are looking into those options to see if there is something we can do for our residents here.
So I do have some.
And as far as transparency goes, Omar, just one more thing that I should have told you. We had 4 public hearings around the city of Crest Hill. Public Works, Caroline Lakes, Richland Grade School, Cheney Manji Grade School. We had given presentations to many residents in regards to the PFAS problem in 2021. To remediate that PFAS out of our system was going to cost us in 2021 $170 million. If we chose to go to Lake Michigan water, it was $90 million. Now, naturally, those prices have been inflated over the last 4 years. We, as a city council, voted unanimously to go to Lake Michigan water because we felt it was in the best interest of the city to improve the quality of life for all our residents, and it was in the best interest of the city of Crest Hill to join the Grand Prairie Water Commission with the other 5 communities and to bring Lake Michigan water to the city of Crest Hill and solve the PFAS problem and any other contaminants that would come into anybody else's water system in the future. That was the decision that we made. Okay?
And Mayor, probably
Yeah.
one more thing. He mentioned about a third-party audit. This city's been audited every year. We do have an audit company that comes in, it's required, and our audits are filed with the state. So our books do get audited by a third party.
So that may have been an oversight on my end, that I haven't found anything that specifically details how the GPWC funds and the SRF funds that the Crest Hill has received have been allocated though. So maybe if you or somebody from, the city of Crest Hill can maybe contact me directly and point me to that
I can answer
information,
the question.
then yeah.
We don't receive anything through the Grand Prairie. Any federal funding that comes to the Grand Prairie, as the mayor said, is split between municipalities. For our cost for the Grand Prairie water main coming out, the city of Crest Hill doesn't directly receive any funds from the state or federal government through the Grand Prairie. So it's an offset to our cost to install the new 60-inch main. But the $120 million that the mayor talked about that we're doing, those are all direct loans that we're getting from the IEPA. But we have to pay all that back.
And then, so the 120 million, there is transparency on that and how that's being allocated, available to the public?
Correct.
And then,
And we've put millions of dollars into the ground already, just to prepare ourselves to get the pipe here.
well, I know, and like I mentioned when I was addressing you, as mayor and council, I know that the end goal is switching to Lake Michigan water, because that will essentially solve the problem, right?
Yes.
But the issue still remains today for the residents. And I feel like if we're asking for, funds and grants, we should be asking them for the residents and to help them, at least in the bare minimum way.
I will quote the EPA. The EPA said it is not unsafe to drink our water. Now, this is a concern for every one of us sitting up here. We're aware of the concerns. We are trying to look at all of our options, like I said. If you feel that a reverse osmosis or some type of system in your home would be beneficial to you, then I would suggest you go out and you purchase that and you put it in, or you have a plumber put it in. But I would say that we are doing our due diligence in regards to this issue, and we are trying to, again, take our time to make sure we make the right decisions going forward.
Well, we could probably be here all day arguing this back and forth, which I don't want to take up much of your time, and I got to get back to my young kids anyway. But I do want to say that in that point that you mentioned that the EPA has said that there's no risk. I think that's oversimplifying the situation. Me drinking the tap water today is not going to kill me in this instant, but there's extensive already research out there points into that it is threatening, slowly but surely, can kill people. So, but again, thank you for hearing me.
Omar, you and I, we spoke a lot, and,
Yeah.
Whatever the mayor said, this is what we're trying to do, but I personally, I will not drink the water, and like you said, it's not healthy, even though the IPA will say you can drink it. I will not recommend for you to drink it. Safety comes first, I'm gonna keep saying that here. If I was you, I would invest in purification system and reverse osmosis, in the meantime. And I wish we had the funds that we can split half-half with the residents so they can put something in that, but hopefully we were looking at something that's gonna help the rest of the city in the meantime, because we still have 5 more years.
No problem. Well, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Omar. Anybody else? Billy?
First off, the term is PFAS, not PFAS. I've been an operator for 30 years. You said earlier about going back to 21 when you did Cheney, Laundry, Richland, all that. Back then, weren't you telling people the reason you're going to Lake Michigan water was because our aquifer was declining? We were losing water. Isn't that what you guys said back then?
It was Joliet's.
I got it written down, but I didn't bring that with. But I'm sure that's what you guys said, the reason why. Regardless, and something struck me in today's paper, not today's, but just the other day. We need to have a plan actively in place to reduce levels by April 29. Our plan is to bring Lake Michigan water, okay? Are you aware that Lake Michigan water, the PFA levels are higher than here? So how are you gonna give us better water when their water is more contaminated than this?
Go ahead, keep talking.
I'm waiting for an answer.
You want an answer?
Yeah,
Is there
why
PFAS in
are
Lake
you going
Michigan
to Lake
water?
Michigan water
There-
when their water is more polluted than what we have here?
The Lake Michigan water is so large with all the Great Lakes, that water is so diluting the PFAS. Now, is there small traces in Lake Michigan water? I am sure. But they're feeding how many millions of people?
9,580 parts per
Hang on, Billy,
billion.
hang on. How many people is Lake Michigan feeding in Will County alone?
Oh, probably like 2 or 3 million people.
Yeah. And we're gonna add to that number also.
Okay.
I mean, again, I'm not sure.
I'm sure that, I'm sure the people in
All right,
Milwaukee
Bill.
really appreciated that too back in '93 when.
Can you let him
104
answer the
died
question,
and-
Bill? Can
What?
you let him speak what he wants to say?
What background do you have in water? Are you a licensed water operator? Okay, then I don't need to know
Okay,
what you
what's
got
your
to
next
say.
question? Address it to the city council.
What?
Address your next question to the city council.
No, that's what I'm saying. You're telling these people that this is the plan, but I don't understand. And you're telling people to talk to the EPA. EPA is state-run, it's state mandated. They're gonna tell you what they want you to know. All my information I got from Lake Michigan came from Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes and Energy, the Water Resources Division, and Michigan Department of Natural Resources, which they first analyzed finding PFAS in the water in Lake Michigan in 2001. And in 2011 is when they found the levels at 9,580 parts per billion, all right? In this state, I would recommend people like the gentleman that left here. If you want some good facts, I would get in touch with the United States Geological Survey. They've been doing studies like this. Matter of fact, they have test wells here in Crest Hill. Have you guys looked at them and seen what the rates are? No?
We are obligated by the IEP.
Yeah. I've dealt with the EPA. I much would take the word of the United States Geological Survey. I know we have to do what the EPA says because that's the state. But I'm sorry, I mean, I don't think that going to Lake Michigan water is gonna solve our problem. You told the gentleman there that, we need to get filters on our water. Well, back years ago, when we had a problem with iron, what did we do as a city? We got iron filters to remove iron, all right? You can't go to charcoal filters. They have 5-phase filters that you can get to remove a lot of this impurities in the water. And it's not, what was I saying? There's the only one thing that you could never do is soften water. I get emotional about this because it bothers me. As a water operator, I was very, very conscious about it, and I was very proud that when I found out years before they dropped it in Illinois, that when the US EPA dropped the level of fluoride in water, they dropped it to 0.7. Illinois was still feeding at 0.9. Every meeting I had with the EPA, I brought that up to them. Every seminar, every conference I went to, I brought that up to the EPA. And they finally dropped it to 0.7. I'm not a big fan of putting chemicals in water. I never was. I think they're more harmful than they are useful. That's why I was saying, I don't think that, well, I shouldn't say I don't. Me in my heart, I don't think going to Lake Michigan water is gonna solve our problem. I really don't. And if you know that you got 2 wells, you said that were showing high in PFAs, is there any way to isolate them? Run off the remaining?
That's why we're exploring all of our options at this time.
Huh?
That is why we are exploring all of our options at this
Okay,
time.
well, that's something I'm gonna throw out there, because that's something you can look into.
That is why we are exploring all of our options. Okay, I thank you for your comments. Anybody else?
But I get was enough when you said transparency.
Ma'am?
Hi, excuse me for my ignorance, this is my first city hall meeting ever. I am on the board at the village, and
You're on the board where?
at the village, Caton Farm Road, Caton Farm
Okay.
Road, Gaylord.
All right.
What's your name? What's your name?
Yolanda Fuqua.
You get that? Chris?
We had been trying for about 4 or 5 years to get the proper no parking on the street signs. Talked to the city. We had to buy a certain sign with certain information, so we bought those. We had those installed. Nobody, there's not a lot of patrolling in the neighborhood. So when we came back and we're like, hey, how do we enforce these? We were told that there was the wrong sign. We had to buy a sign from the city. I don't know if that's true or not. So one issue is we're trying to figure out the proper way to get this right signage to have no parking on the street enforced. And then 2, we don't have a lot of patrolling in the neighborhood. So I came and talked to an officer here. Can we just have a few more cars come through? And there's a group of people that have been there for like 2 or 3 years that have just been a nuisance. And I'm like, if we could get more patrols coming through, you guys could get a lot of money on tickets and violations and stuff. So like, maybe some of that can go to the water, because there's tons of violations on a daily basis.
Okay, Yolanda, why don't you do this? We'll be finishing here and going into executive session probably in about 5 minutes. So why don't you stick around, and either our police chief or our deputy chief will have some conversations with you, get some places where you're looking at, and maybe they can give you some direction.
Okay.
Fair enough? All right, thank you. Stu?
Good evening, Stuart Swiffer. I just wanted to make a comment about Hendrickson and Verde. After their presentation last week, I thought it was extremely impressive, and I think it's something that potentially that the city should maybe be looking at, some solar systems for either the city's own use and maybe some sort of implementation of solar for other businesses in the city. I think that their presentation was phenomenal, and I think it is going to be a great thing that's done in the city. And I would like to hope to see that the city can expand further on that, either by themselves or encouraging other businesses to invest in the same kind of system. Thank you very much for that approval.
Thank you. Okay, to our city attorney, Mike, there is a need for an executive session, correct?
There is 5 ILCS 122C1, which is basically appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body.
So moved as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderperson Oberlin, seconded by Alderman Jefferson to go into executive session for 2C1. Roll call, please, Chris.
Mr. Mayor?
Yep.
Before you go to roll call, there's a couple of people we're need to invite in specifically for the discussion. One would be the HR interim, Dave Straw, is needed because we're going to be talking about the merit and evaluations and non-union employees. So we got a small presentation there. The other thing is you got the chief's employment agreement. So chief needs to be invited in for that section. I'm optional. If you want me there, just put that as an invite. and then anybody else that you want to invite in for the meeting. Your third one is mainly with the attorney and with the committee in regards to employment agreements.
Okay. So right now, the motion is just to go into executive session, but we will need Dave, and what about Glenn Gerke also for?
Yeah, Glenn would be, because part of his
For the
spreadsheet
payroll and.
goes to the budget.
That will be the first one.
Yeah.
The second one will be the police chief's contract extension. We'll need the police chief in that one. And the last one will be for the
Contract
the
negotiation.
contract negotiations for city administrator.
And
Okay.
that one, we just need the city attorney.
Great.
That's
Okay.
the recommendation.
A roll call, Chris?
Claudia Gazal,
Yes.
Tina Oberlin,
Yes.
Mark Sepiti,
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal,
Yes.
Scott Dyke,
Yes.
and Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, we'll be going into executive session at 8:51 PM.